Kansas City Sports Update Studios. Welcome to Kingdom Radio, where we talk about all things Kansas City Chiefs. Brought to you by Arrowhead Update. Join Chris and Richard on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Player FM, CastBox, and all third-party applications. Check us out on Facebook platforms such as Kansas City Sports Update and Arrowhead Update. And if you cannot find us there, Google or search Kingdom Radio and Kansas City Chiefs, and you will find us. Welcome to the Kingdom. Kingdom.
How are we doing, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome to Kingdom Radio. I am your host, Richard Smith, along with my co-host and senior NFL analyst, Chris Chavez. And look, we are on the eve of Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. And look, we got a lot to look forward to, especially with Patrick Mahomes being cleared and coming back on the field. Look, this rocket ship is about to take off again, and we're headed in the right direction. And before we get into the show tonight, I want to do some promotional things. Check out our website, kckingdomradio.com. Also, tomorrow, biggest live podcast ever for Kingdom Radio. We're really excited about this. Miss Nicole is making an appearance to entertain us, and she's going to be doing her single, Are You Ready? And We Up Now at halftime. Also, Kingdom Radio is going to be doing a pregame show. There'll be a Derek Thomas raffle, $10 entry with a $10 Pizza Shop gift certificate going along with that. Get up there and have some fun. This starts at 11 a.m. It's going to be a big party up there at Pizza Shop Platte City. Get involved. Come up there and do something different and have some fun with the Kingdom Radio crew and watch the Kansas City Chiefs take it to the Tennessee Titans. Chris, let's hop right into this. I'm sorry I had to go through all that stuff, but there's some big things going on in Kingdom Radio. And what do you think of us having Miss Nicole out there at our live event?
I think it's going to be fantastic. It's going to bring another level of energy, and I really wish I was there to be able to partake.
Hey, we're going to get you up here to Kansas City as soon as possible. And with that being said, Kansas City, get up there and have some fun. This is the event we've been looking forward to for about 2 months. We could not bring more to the table for this entertaining game and for Patrick Mahomes to come back and lead the Chiefs to a victory. And so with that being said, let's talk about the Chiefs a little bit. Let's talk about this game. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is coming back. There's a lot of skepticism behind that with him being the future of Kansas City. Obviously, like we said last week, Chris, that, we want the Chiefs to win a Super Bowl worse than, we want to beat, the Titans, or like we said last week, the Packers. So, Chris, tell me, how do you feel about Andy Reid's decision and the coaching staff to bring Patrick Mahomes back against the Tennessee Titans?
I would feel much better about this if Eric Fisher were back.
Correct.
As of Thursday and Friday, Eric Fisher had been limited participant in practice, but he's currently listed as out for tomorrow's game. And with Cam Irving back there at left tackle still, I'm still concerned about Mahomes, but I also know that the medical staff, Andy Reid, would not put him out there without him having practiced at full speed all week and him showing no ill effects of the practice. So I feel confident for tomorrow.
As do I, especially with Mahomes wearing the knee brace like he is. I still look for him to be Patrick Mahomes. I don't think that Andy Reid is just going to throw him in the shotgun position the whole game and not put him under center. When you're favoring a knee or an ankle, you don't like that 5-step or 3-step drop, because that puts a lot of pressure on that nagging injury. But I think he's all right. I think we're moving right along in the right direction. Can we beat Tennessee without him? Absolutely. I really think that we can, and I think that's the biggest question mark, with fans and analysis around the NFL, wondering as to why, we're bringing Patrick Mahomes back so early, because, the window of recovery for this injury is 3 to 6 weeks. And the Kansas City Chiefs brought him back, as soon as possible. As soon as that window was available, the Chiefs are pulling Patrick Mahomes right back in, to lead the troops. But look, I mean, that's really a compliment to, Andy Reid and the confidence, he has and our skill set players, to take the load off of Patrick Mahomes. So, Chris, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk who's going to have the impact in this game on the offense, against a defensive Tennessee team that, I mean, where would you rate, Tennessee's defense? I want to ask you that, really.
If they were 100% healthy, I would rate them probably middle of the pack.
Right.
They've got some really good players, complementary players, to complete their defense. Their secondary is suspiciously good. They don't get talked about enough. They just kind of get picked on a little bit. But you've got this kid, Logan Ryan, who has 3.5 sacks on the year, but he also has 12 passes defense as the cornerback. And he's also their leading pass defense secondary player. But for him to also have 3.5 sacks, it tells you that he's a well-rounded player who's willing to step up and play the run, to blitz and do whatever the defense needs from him. Their safeties, Kevin Byard and Kenny Vaccaro. I think it was Byard who's a couple years removed from being a Pro Bowl player.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are decent. They're still transitioning. They're trying to get their identity. But they won't necessarily pose too big of a threat given the injuries that they're looking at, because they've got two of their starters, Jarrell Casey and Jayon Brown, out for this game. And then and we'll get to the offensive side, but they have two players who are unlikely to play on the offensive side as well.
And which, that is in high favor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Any injury on the Tennessee Titans at this point is a huge loss for them against a high-powered roster that the Chiefs have. And look, you said Logan Ryan has 3 sacks, correct?
Yeah, 3.5.
Okay, 3.5 sacks. I will say this. He better be careful tomorrow coming after Mahomes and leaving anybody an inch open and give them space. I think that the Titans are really going to have to play the Kansas City Chiefs differently on defense than they, obviously have played everybody else on their schedule. This is a different offense, and we realize this, but we're spoiled here in Chiefs Kingdom. And also, you had mentioned the Eric Fisher injury. Look, I don't see Jeffrey Simmons being a guy who can make a big enough impact, which is the defensive end for the Titans, but I don't see him being a big enough stud to make an impact, against, who was filling in for him, against Cam Irving. I'm sorry. I feel like Cam Irving can handle that scenario, compared to, past weeks. We've gone up against some great teams and some great defenses. And I think this might be the week that our running game can pick up, especially after, that huge run that Williams had last week. I think we can exploit this defensive line. I think if the defensive secondary tries too many stunts against Patrick Mahomes, ultimately it's going to bite them in the tail. They're really going to have to play a safe game against the Chiefs, which in the long run is also going to burn them as well. I just don't think, all around in any way that the Tennessee Titans defense can hang with Kansas City.
Well, and on that note, looking at their stats, they only have 2 players who really jump off the page when it comes to sack numbers. Logan Ryan, as I already mentioned, and a linebacker, Harold Landry III, who has 6 and who's their leading sack getter. Everybody else has 1 or 2. These guys don't really get after the quarterback. And ideally, this is probably the best game to bring Patrick Mahomes back, because even with Cam Irving at left tackle, he's extremely less likely to see pressure against these guys than he would have last week against Minnesota,
right?
Who I believe ended up getting or 6 sacks against Matt Moore, or next week against the Chargers, who, although they're losing like crazy, they can still get after the quarterback.
Right. So let me ask you this. Let's go back to my original question here. Who do you think is going to step up within our offense? Because it seems to be a different player every week. Last week was probably the best collective Chiefs win that I've seen in years. Who's going to be the man to step up here within our specialty players? Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is going to have a big day against the Tennessee defense. But who's going to be the man for the Kansas City Chiefs tomorrow?
It's hard. It's hard to go against Cheetah. But I think that and we know that he's going to get his tomorrow. I think the most pivotal player for the team is going to be Damian Williams. He needs to set the tone in the run game and make the Tennessee Titans truly focus on a balanced defense and not just playing the pass. If we can force them to also honor the run, that opens things up for our pass game.
Yes, the play action, and even little dump passes out of the backfield, our end arounds. I mean, it really opens up a lot for Kansas City to establish that run game, and more so than we even realize because of how intricate an Andy Reid-led offense truly is. You're never going to see the same thing twice, and if you do, it's because we've burnt you the first time, and we're probably going to burn you the second time too. But I feel like Andy Reid should have that confidence in what he has built and established within this organization to be able to go out and do whatever he wants to on any given Sunday against any team, especially the Tennessee Titans. So, given this defense here, how many points do you think we can put up against a lackluster defense and really a team who has not found their identity yet this season?
Honestly, with Mahomes coming back and everybody else essentially being healthy, I could see us going for 35-plus against these guys.
I could too. This could potentially be another career day for Mahomes, and it seems like every game is a career game for Mahomes. Even an off game, he's throwing for 275, yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns. Well, I wouldn't say 2 or 3 touchdowns, at least a touchdown. But either way, an off day for Mahomes is a great day for any other quarterback in the league. And yeah, I'm with you. I mean, this could climb up into the 40s if Tennessee really doesn't show up to play. But I also think if we get up into those numbers, we sit Mahomes and bring Moore in and let him, continue what he's doing this season. I don't really think that Moore should sit the whole game tomorrow, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, if we get a big enough lead, definitely sit Patrick and let Matt Morris step in. And, regardless of what we see from Patrick Mahomes, mid-third quarter, fourth quarter, sit him and let Matt Moore finish up the game. There's no reason to jeopardize him any further just because he want to put up these godly numbers to get him back into the MVP race. Which a lot of people are saying that he's still in the race, blah, blah. At this point, I don't care about the MVP. I'm pretty sure he doesn't either. We all have our eyes on the Super Bowl. That's what matters. We need him to be healthy in order to have the best chance to get there. But as we saw, we have a lot of confidence with Matt Moore at quarterback if that situation arises again.
And, given his name gets called, obviously he's going to come out and produce. And I'm more interested, in the Chargers game, obviously it being an AFC West showdown, especially with, how well the Raiders have kind of pulled things together here in the season. They have some momentum. And it's not that they're going to challenge the Chiefs. I don't really think they are. I think this is kind of, like me and you have stated previously, we're just looking forward to the Chiefs and the playoffs. That's when our season starts. So I think that the offensive side of the ball in this game is more important than the defensive side of the ball. Granted, they've had great production the last 3 weeks. I don't think a Ryan Tannehill-led Titans. Look, it's Ryan Tannehill, Delaney Walker, and Derrick Henry. That's really the only players on the field that I'll even bat an eye at. And obviously, Derrick Henry is a beast, and that's the number one. Number one player on Tennessee that we really, really need to shut down, and we need to make it a priority, just like we did Dalvin Cook. We hold Derrick Henry to Dalvin Cook numbers, we're going to run away with this game. And so I look for Chris Jones to get after him all day long. Look, our defense is getting healthy again, and I see us not letting up. We're going to keep on the throttle just like we should, and I see us getting to Tannehill all day. And this might be a huge defensive game, too, solely because of the turnover aspect. Ryan Tannehill is not very good under pressure, and I really think that the Chiefs are going to exploit that all day long. But, Chris, give me your take on our defensive scenario here, against basically Derrick Henry.
Well, Derrick Henry is definitely a different sort of back than we faced all season. He's going to be the biggest back we ever face, and he's got some tremendous speed. And we've done a really good job of tackling running backs as of late. And this is just going to be another element of we need to gang tackle this dude and make sure that he gets down. But to go back to the passing game, which is where I think that it's going to be a sneaky element to their offense. Ryan Tannehill is completing nearly 72% of his pass attempts. And although he is turnover prone, he's thrown 4 interceptions. In one less game than Marcus Mariota, he's thrown 1 less touchdown. So he's keeping the Titans in games. And again, Derrick Henry's kind of finishing them off. But to go back to another name that you dropped, Delanie Walker, he's going to be out for this game.
Nice.
And so they're going to be, and as is their wide receiver, Corey Davis. And so they're going to be relying on their 2 leading wide receivers, Adam Humphries and A.J. Brown, who don't have as many yards. Well, A.J. Brown is their leading yard getter, excuse me. He's averaging 16.5 yards a catch. But Corey Davis is probably their biggest game breaker. And then Delanie Walker is Mr. Reliable, who they normally go to. And so they're missing some of their biggest targets, but the guys who are catching the ball the most, Adam Humphries with 32 catches leads the team. They're still going to be there on the field.
Yes, I guess I have no confidence in the Titans. I still look at them as a one-dimensional team, even though Tannehill's, completing over 70% of his passes. Has he seen pressure like we're going to put on him tomorrow? And I guess that's the biggest question is I do not see Spags letting up on, sending the dogs here. And, I look at this offensive line, Ben Jones, their center, that's really the only one who stands out to me. I'm not straight across the board. I'm not seeing it. And as long as we don't let Derrick Henry get to the 3rd level, I think we'll be okay all the way around. This could be a extremely lopsided game in Tennessee.
Well, I think you're not giving the Titans tackles enough credit. Taylor Lewan and Jack Conklin, they're pretty decent. One of them got popped for PEDs, and he didn't start the season. But he was an all-pro a couple years back. But going back to the pressure note that you made, so in 6 games, Marcus Mariota had been sacked 25 times. Mm-hmm. But in 5 games, Tannehill was only sacked 13. And so I think that he handles the pressure a little bit better than Marcus Mariota did. And so he'll probably find those checkdowns, those quick hits on the blitzes, because he's more experienced. He can read the defenses better. Now, will he be able to do that against us? I doubt it. I mean, we're going up against Flacco, who's been in the league for 10-plus years.
Right.
We made him look like a rookie.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers was running all night. And so I think that we're going to be able to still get pressure. It's just going to be a matter of can we get to him. And even then, I don't think that Tannehill's that good of a mobile quarterback that he's going to be able to, like you said, complete 72% of his throws against us. Our secondary is too good for that.
Right.
And it's a matter of we need to keep riding this defensive wave that we've been on for the last 3 weeks now and continue that momentum. If they perform the way, or if our defense has performed the way that they have, we've got this game on lock.
I completely agree. I hope that the mentality going into tomorrow's game is just because Patrick Mahomes comes back does not mean anything changes on defense, because I'll tell you what, if we get both of them going at the same time, it is going to be very, very scary for the remaining teams on our schedule, including New England. And we are absolutely a team that can sweep the rest of the season and the playoffs and win a Super Bowl. I mean, there's a lot of predictions out there right now saying that that's exactly what's going to happen, because we formed and we formed into a team because of our leader got hurt. You know, what's crazy is him getting hurt was almost the best asset on our defense for the season. And I know that's a weird way to look at it, but hey, it made him step up. And we just have to keep rolling, keep this rocket ship going, and let the ball keep rolling. And it's no different against the Titans, the Chargers, you know, anybody else that we face. We're rolling right now, and this is the best the Chiefs have looked in, you know, all season. So, like you said, Tannehill, you know, he might be able to do a little bit against us, but you also mentioned how we kept Aaron Rodgers in check. You know, what we did to Joe Flacco. You know, we really did a good job, you know, against the Ravens. I mean, so we've played some tough quarterbacks. We've played some really tough teams. This is a game. I mean, Chris, I understand everything you're saying about the Titans, but let's not be too critical. Like, we're finally on the back end of our schedule, and I don't think that it's that deep with the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, no. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that they're that deep, and I don't think that they're going to pose that big of a problem. I just don't want for anybody to overlook them.
Right.
They're going to be competitive, and they're going to give us their best, and I'm just pointing out where and how they can potentially do that.
And I think ultimately, like you said, we just got to stop Derrick Henry. I mean, that's really where it's at. Like, scratch Tannehill. Derrick Henry is the beast on that team, and we got to stop him. And I feel like we'll do it. Like I said, as long as we don't let him get to that third level, I really, really think that we can bring home a W here. And so, Chris, with that being said, we've touched base on the offense and the defense. Do you think our special teams is going to get involved here and make things happen? Because I will say that McCole Hartman has had flashes of brilliance, and then, you know, had some other plays that really question if we should keep him back there as a return man. And then we switched up to Tyreek Hill this past game. What's your thoughts on our special teams? Because, look, we haven't been as productive as in years past, and that's something I've noticed, and I think you touched base on that a few weeks ago, maybe further back than that. But what's up with our special teams? What do you think here?
Well, like you've said for a while now, we're kind of spoiled because we have a lot of really, really talented guys who can all show flashes and contribute in special teams.
Right.
And Hardman, with his speed, I mean, he's always a threat to take it to the house. He hasn't yet, but he's broken some big plays and had very impactful momentum-swinging plays. But then he also has some some fumbles that also sway the momentum for the other team.
Right.
And I think that while his ability to take it to the house is great and wonderful, I think that the threat of giving the ball back to the opposing team is too great. I think we need to make a switch back there just for a week or two and let Hardman figure out how to hold on to the ball and then put it back there again. And I think that this week against Tennessee would be the week to do it, just because I don't think that their secondary is going to be, or excuse me, their special teams is going to be able to really harm us in any way, shape, or form. I think whoever we have back there is going to have a shot to potentially return one this weekend.
Yes, and I want to say I'm with you on sitting Hardman, but I'd really, or not really sitting him, but not letting him handle the special teams. But I really like seeing what he brings to the table, and realistically, this would be a great week for our special teams to get it together a little bit and take one back to the house. I'd like to see that spark out of our special teams like we've had, for at least a decade now. And not that it's hindering us. Obviously, look at Butker, on the other side. I mean, he's really, really been a huge impact. Dustin Colquitt, obviously. I want to see our special teams step up. Nobody really talks about that. That's kind of the back end scenario for the Chiefs. And if they can get it going too, holy cow. I mean, you think about the Kansas City Chiefs firing on all cylinders, special teams, offense, and defense, that is dangerous. Dangerous. So I feel like on the
and that's just that's the thing is that
Go ahead.
we haven't been firing on all cylinders all year long. And if we can get there, this is going to be fantastic.
It's going to be a show, that's for sure. It's going to be a show. So, on the other side of the ball, special teams, I mean, maybe Ryan Suckup might, grab a couple field goals, whatever he's doing. But other than that, I don't see the special teams on Tennessee Titans really harming us in any way, like you said. So let's move on to the keys to the game here. I want to hear all around, what is your top 3 keys to a Chiefs victory tomorrow?
For our defense to keep the momentum, keep riding that wave, we're going to be getting Frank Clark back, presumably. He's been a limited participant in practice all week. He's questionable. I don't think that he's going to see a lot of time. I think that he's going to see time. And then just keep that rotation going, and shut down the run, get to Tannehill, pressure him, and then on the offensive side, I'd run the ball. Not to take the ball out of Mahomes' hands, but to create the balance on offense that we saw work so well under Matt Moore.
Yes. Hey, compliments to those keys to victory, because every single one of those is critical. And I would say, I want to add to that a little bit. Controlling the line to scrimmage on both sides of the ball is going to be a huge asset, especially with a running back like Derrick Henry. Get to Derrick Henry, attack Ryan Tannehill, get to him, force some turnovers, put the ball back in the offense's hands, and like you said, run the ball, control the clock, and utilize the playmakers, and get the ball out of Mahomes' hand. This is probably the first time, since Mahomes has taken the field for the Kansas City Chiefs, where I'm saying get the ball out of his hands, but we need to. We need to preserve our talent, bring him back as early as we are. We don't want to put him in harm's way. But at the same time, the faster you get the ball out of Mahomes' hands, the easier it is for the defense to stop our short passing game. And that's something that we've seen earlier this season. So I look for Andy Reid to have some tricks up his sleeve and really utilize some different packages and plays, especially against a Tennessee defense that has so many holes. There's a lot of inexperience there that I see in my mind, and I think that our coaching staff can really take advantage and win that chess game against the Tennessee Titans coaching staff. So that's really my keys to victory. Chris, do you have anything to add to that?
No, we touched on everything.
So let me ask you this. Let's go into predictions for tomorrow. And I'm going to start off with my prediction. And this is something, Chris, me and you are always like, I'm not really a big prediction person solely because, when I was a kid, to be perfectly honest with you, every time I predicted the Chiefs to win, it seemed like it'd bite me in the butt. Every time I bet on the Chiefs, it bites me in the butt. But with the Patrick Mahomes-led team, if you bet against the Chiefs, and in my mind, you're crazy, man. So tomorrow's game, gosh, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to say 45 to 13. 45 to 13, Kansas City takes it to Tennessee, and we have a great defensive game. Look, we're going to score a defensive touchdown tomorrow as well. I'm going to call that right now a defensive touchdown. But that's my final answer. Chris, where are you at with it?
Ballpark, same as yours. I was going to go 38-13.
Hey, there we go. And it seems like Man U, we have basically the same predictions week in and week out. We've been, off on a couple of them, and the curve on a couple of them has been wide. But hey, look, we're in a good scenario here. I feel like that we are going to comfortably win this game, confidently move into San Diego, win that game, and then we're going to go into the bye week, and this is going to open up a whole chapter for the Kansas City Chiefs that didn't know existed because, as I am well aware of, and Chris, I know you are as well, I'm sure Chiefs Kingdom is, Andy Reid is almost flawless after a bye week. So let's get these two games under our belt, give Andy Reid some preparation, let's move into this later half, and let's get into playoffs, Kansas City. So with that being said, hey, look, Chiefs, Tennessee, tomorrow, noon. Get up there to Platte City Pizza Shop. Check out Miss Nicole live. Check out Kingdom Radio's live show. Doors open at 11 a.m. Get up there. Also check out the KC Kingdom Radio website, kckingdomradio.com. Also check out all of our merchandise at, kingdomradio2019.itemorder.com. And so, with that being said, that is our podcast tonight. Chris, you got anything you want to add?
Go Chiefs!
Go Chiefs. Yes, go Chiefs. Let's take it to these Titans. Chris, thank you for being with me tonight. As always, as our senior NFL analyst and co-host, I could not be happier to talk Chiefs football with you, Chris.
Likewise, it's always a pleasure.
All right. Well, Kansas City, you have a wonderful night. I want to get this podcast out there. It is 8:04 p.m., and I would love for y'all to see this or hear this pregame show this evening or early tomorrow, before this Chiefs game kicks off. So have a wonderful night, Kansas City. Get up early, get that red on, and get some tailgate going, and let's go Chiefs. Let's go Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes, do your thing. We brought back Showtime at the right time. Make sure we get it done, Kansas City. Have a great night.
Thank you for tuning in to Kingdom Radio, your go-to podcast for everything Kansas City Chiefs.